There are places the waking world was never meant to reach. Places that wait behind sleep, behind memory, behind the moment you decide to look. The theater records what comes through. The subjects rarely remember. This is Tryptic Theater of Dreaming. Some doors should stay closed. Blindside, Season 0, Episode 2, by Morgan Olson.
Haseem knew how to follow rules. He wasn't proud of it, but it kept him alive longer than most. On the Cutoff, rules weren't about right and wrong. They were about what didn't get you folded into something else, what didn't get you mistaken, what didn't get you seen by the wrong thing at the wrong time. The road was called the Cutoff because once, a long time ago, it had been a shortcut between two places that mattered. The places didn't matter anymore. The road kept going anyway. People used it because there wasn't really anything else, and because once you'd been on it for a while, the idea of leaving started to sound more frightening than the idea of staying. There were dozens of rules. Don't take a name that isn't yours. Don't answer a question that wasn't asked out loud. Don't ride past mile-marker glass when the sky looks like wet metal. Don't trade with anyone whose breath you can't see in the cold. Don't whistle. Don't count out loud. Don't look back at a sound you don't recognize, because looking back makes it true. Most of them made sense after a while. You learned them the way an animal learns heat, by touching it once and remembering forever. After a season on the Cutoff, Haseem had stopped questioning the small ones. He didn't whistle. He counted in his head. He let unfamiliar sounds pass behind him without curiosity, the way a deer learns to let the rifle's click be just another sound in the trees. But the one that never sat right with him was the one everyone said like it was obvious. Don't mess with a blind threshold. They said it the way they said, don't step in front of a moving truck. Casual, finished. No room for questions. If you asked what it meant, people got quiet, or changed the subject. Or worse, they gave you 3 different answers and none of them matched. A door, one woman had said, or a stretch of road, or a place where 2 things meet that shouldn't. A pause, said another. A pause that hasn't decided yet what it's a pause in. A man at a fire had said. Just a part of the road that ain't been touched yet, and then refused to say anything else for the rest of the night. Haseem didn't like rules that didn't have edges. He'd seen what happened when people broke the other ones. The rules, with consequences shaped like sentences, with subjects and verbs and clean grammatical ends. He'd seen a man answer a question that came from a radio with no battery in it. The man walked off the shoulder of the road like he'd been invited somewhere, and the ground didn't argue with him, just took him. No sound. No struggle. Like a door had been waiting on the other side of his step, and the step had finally arrived. He'd seen a girl whistle on a clear afternoon and watched the wind change direction to follow her. She kept walking. The wind kept following. She made it 3 more miles before she sat down at the side of the road and didn't get up. And by then, the wind had a shape in it that none of them wanted to look at. He'd seen a boy count out loud, just 1, 2, 3, and watched the 3rd thing be something that hadn't been there at 1. These were rules with consequences. They taught you. They made the world legible in a way that you could carry. After enough of them, your body started to know things your mind hadn't agreed to. Haseem could feel the shape of the sky now without looking up. He could tell when a town was empty before he reached its first house. His skin did things his thoughts didn't ask it to. That, he understood, was the road working on him. Animal lessons. He had become a thing that lived on the Cutoff the way other things lived in burrows. But blind threshold. That felt like a phrase someone had forgotten how to finish. It had no shape. It pointed nowhere. It just told him to behave around something he couldn't name, and that was the kind of rule his hands itched against. He'd been on the Cutoff for, he didn't know. Time on the road was something you measured in seasons of light, not in days. The sun came up white sometimes, and other times the color of an old coin. There were stretches where the sky was held in place by something he couldn't see, and other stretches where it leaked. He'd stopped counting. He'd stopped trying to remember the place he'd been before. He had a knife. He had a coat. He had a memory of his mother's voice that he could call up most nights, though the words she said in the memory had started to drift, and he wasn't sure anymore which sentences were hers and which the road had given her. He had the rules. He kept moving, because moving was a rule too, an unspoken one, the deepest kind. People who stopped on the cutoff for too long became part of it. He'd seen them, standing at intersections, sitting on porches of houses that weren't there yesterday, smiling at travellers in a way that made the travellers walk faster. They weren't cruel. They were just no longer separate from the road. The cutoff had absorbed them and was using them now, the way a body uses fingernails. Haseem did not want to be a fingernail. So he moved, and he followed the rules, and he tried not to push at the unfinished ones, even when they itched. He first heard Blind Threshold from Lucas, late in a gas station that had no pumps and no clock, just a light that hummed, and shelves full of things that didn't have labels anymore. Cans and bottles and boxes, whose words had slid off them, leaving only the faint impression of where letters used to be. Lucas had a way of looking at things sideways, like he was used to seeing the second version of them. He was older than Haseem by a decade or two. It was hard to tell on the road. People aged strangely here, sometimes backward in patches. And he had the kind of voice that told you he'd survived more than he was going to talk about. They were both pretending to shop. Pretending was important in places like that gas station. The light didn't like being noticed too directly. "You're new still," Lucas said, holding a can that might have been beans, considering it like a man considering a chess move. "Not that new." "New enough." Lucas set the can down. "You know about blind thresholds. I know the rule. Don't interfere with one. If it hasn't seen you, leave it that way. Walk past. Don't speak. Don't point. Don't think loud near it." "What is it?" Lucas's eyes did the sideways thing. Not at Haseem, at the air just past Haseem's left shoulder, where there was nothing. "Boy," he said softly. "If I knew that, it wouldn't be blind." He picked up a bottle, turned it in his hand. The liquid inside moved a half second later than the bottle did. He set it down. "Just listen. There's places on the road that haven't decided yet. They're not anything. They're not anywhere. They're just sitting there, waiting to be a thing. And what makes them a thing is being noticed. By the wrong creature. In the wrong way. And then they're a place you don't want to go." Lucas paid for nothing with coins that didn't ring right. And worse, they know you're the one who made them. He walked out into a night that had too many directions, and Haseem stood under the humming light for a long time, with his hand resting on a shelf of unmarked cans, trying to imagine what it meant for a place to be looking for him. The trouble was, he could imagine it. That was the problem. His mind, animal as it had become, could already feel a shape out there in the dark, with his name written on it in handwriting he didn't recognize. He left the gas station and got back on the road. He told himself he would follow the rule. He told himself he was good at rules. He noticed it first in small ways. People on the road sometimes paused mid-step, like they were waiting for something to catch up to them. He'd see a traveller walking ahead of him on a long, flat stretch, and the traveller's left foot would hover. Just for a breath, too long. Before coming down. Like the foot had been about to land somewhere else, and then chose this ground at the last second. The traveller never seemed to notice, but Haseem noticed, and the noticing put a shiver in the back of his neck that the road had taught him not to ignore. Conversations would hitch. He'd be talking to someone at a fire. They were everywhere, the small fires, in metal drums and on stones, lit by no one Haseem ever saw lighting them. And the other person would say a sentence that took a fraction too long between its words. Like the speaker was listening to a second version of the sentence somewhere else, and waiting for the two versions to agree before continuing. He started seeing places where the air didn't move, just patches, not in the way that still air doesn't move, but in the way that something that hasn't been told to exist yet doesn't move. He'd walk past one of these patches, and his skin would tighten across his bones. And afterward, he'd find he had been holding his breath without knowing it. He didn't know if these were blind thresholds. He didn't know if the patches were them, or if the patches were something near them, or if blind thresholds were something else entirely, and he was inventing a category for his fear. But he started giving the patches a wide berth. He started crossing to the other side of the road when he saw the air go quiet. The animal in him approved. Once, he saw a man standing at the mouth of a bridge, a small bridge over a creek that didn't have water in it, just a shallow stone bed with leaves, and the man wasn't crossing. He was just standing at the threshold of the bridge, looking at it, the way you might look at a sentence you couldn't finish reading. Haseem walked past on the dirt beside the road. He did not say hello. He did not look at what the man was looking at. He felt his pulse in his teeth for a long time afterward. He started to understand that the rule was not arbitrary. Whatever a blind threshold was, the road wanted you to leave it alone. The road was not a kind thing, but in this one matter, it was almost protective, the way a neglectful parent still pulls them back from a fire. He thought he'd be fine. He was good at rules. Then he saw the woman. She was at the edge of a rest stop, one of the half-rest stops where the building had partially decided not to be a building anymore. The walls were there. The roof was there. The doors had become something the eye didn't quite catch. He'd stopped at the picnic table to eat a strip of dried meat and drink from his canteen. And he'd seen her standing past the bathrooms where the pavement gave up and the dirt began. She wasn't looking at anything. That was what made him stop chewing. He was used to people on the road staring at things he couldn't see. That was almost normal. People on the Cutoff developed strange focal points, things only their eyes could pick out. You learned not to look in the direction they were looking. But this woman was different. She was staring at nothing. Not nothing that was something. Not nothing with a shape only she could see. Just nothing. A patch of air at the edge of the lot. A piece of the world that had not committed to being a piece of the world. She was very still. Her hands hung at her sides. Her hair didn't move, even though there was a small wind moving the dust around her feet. The wind went around her, the way water goes around a stone. And the air in front of her, Haseem's chest tightened looking at it. The air in front of her was waiting. It wasn't doing anything. It wasn't shimmering, or darkening, or coiling. It was waiting. The same way a held breath waits. The same way the half second before a predator chooses which prey is a kind of waiting. The air in front of her had not decided yet. It had not been chosen, and she had not chosen it. That was, he understood with a slow animal certainty, the rule. Don't interfere with a blind threshold, because a blind threshold could be standing right in front of someone and stay blind as long as nobody told it where to look. She wasn't messing with it. She was. He saw it now. She was being very careful not to. She was holding still, the way a rabbit holds still in the long grass. She wasn't lost. She wasn't waiting for help. She was an animal, doing the right thing. Haseem could have walked past. That was what the rule wanted. He should have packed up his meat and his canteen and walked the long curve of the rest stop, away from her, and let her stay still until the air in front of her decided to be only air, and let her go on her way. But there was something about her, the careful, pinned stillness of her body, the way her shoulders had a shape that was almost a flinch but couldn't be allowed to become one, the way she was, in a small and human way, suffering. He thought of his mother. He thought of how long someone could stand like that before something gave. He wanted to help her. He wanted to tell her she could move. He wanted to be a person, briefly, in a place that had stopped letting him be one. He took a breath. His body did not want him to take that breath. The animal in him went rigid. His pulse climbed up the back of his throat. His hands, on the picnic table, had pressed down hard enough to whiten his knuckles, and he hadn't told them to. The rules were always loudest in the body. He had learned that. He had learned to listen. He didn't listen. Hey, he said. It was barely a sound. The kind of thing you say to a stranger so you don't startle them. It came out soft, harmless, careful as a hand offered to a frightened dog. The woman didn't turn right away. He saw her shoulders close, the smallest motion, like a door easing shut. He saw her eyes. He could see her eyes from where he sat, even at that distance somehow, and the eyes had gone wet and bright in a way that wasn't tears. The way eyes go bright when an animal knows. She turned finally, but she didn't turn to him. She turned her head, slowly, with a precision that was almost graceful, to where his voice had been a moment before, to the air above the picnic table, to the empty space where the hay had hung for that fraction of a second before falling. She was not looking at him. She was looking at where he had been audible, and the air in front of her, the patch that had been waiting. Haseem felt it turn too, not visibly. There was no shimmer, no flex, but the patch of air had an attention now, where before it had only had a stillness, and the attention was facing the same direction she was, toward the picnic table, toward the place his voice had marked. It hadn't seen him yet, not him exactly. It had only seen the place he had spoken from, the print of him in the air. But it was looking now, and it had not been looking before. He understood then, fully, finally, what made a threshold blind. It wasn't that it couldn't see. It was that it hadn't chosen what to see yet, and now it had begun to choose. He didn't remember leaving the rest stop. He remembered the walk away from it, in the sense that his legs had carried him and his body had refused to let him look back. But the act of standing up, the act of putting the canteen in his pack, the act of stepping off the curb, those were gone. The animal in him had taken those steps without consulting him. It had decided that movement was the only acceptable response, and it had begun the movement, and his mind had only caught up a quarter mile down the road, when he found himself walking too fast on a stretch of cracked asphalt, and his hands were shaking. The woman was behind him. He didn't know what had happened to her. He hoped, and the hoping felt selfish, the way hope often did on the Cutoff. He hoped she had been still enough, after he spoke, that the patch of air had only seen the table, only the print of the hay, that she had been such a small, careful animal that the threshold had passed over her. He suspected this was not true. He suspected the threshold, having begun to choose, had chosen the nearest thing first, and then turned its slow face toward the source. He suspected she was not still standing at the edge of the rest stop. He suspected, also, that he was now being looked for. The road did not feel different at first. That was almost worse. He had thought, without articulating it, that breaking a rule of this size would change the world around him visibly, that the sky would do something, that the pavement would flicker, that something would announce itself. Nothing announced itself. The Cutoff went on being the Cutoff, but by the next morning he started seeing doors. Not doors that were attached to anything, doors leaning against trees, freestanding in the grass, halfway sunk into the dirt at the side of the road. Doors set into the trunks of pines, with no doorframe, just the rectangle of wood. Doors with no handles. Doors with too many. He had seen doors on the Cutoff before. The road was always offering them, and the rule with doors was simple. Don't open one you didn't watch someone close. He had followed that rule. He still followed it. But these doors were different. These were watching him. He could feel it. He could feel the way each door as he passed it, oriented itself faintly toward him. Not turning, they didn't move, but attending, the way a head in a crowd will turn toward a name without the body knowing it has turned. Each door he passed had the animal posture of paying attention. He started walking with his eyes down. He started crossing to whichever side of the road had fewer doors. He started skipping rest stops, sleeping in fields, choosing fields that had no fences because fences had gates and gates were thresholds. His body had become loud. The animal in him would not be quiet now. It crouched sometimes when nothing was there. It hissed, low in his throat, at sounds he couldn't identify. It smelled things. It smelled the difference between air that had been chosen and air that hadn't. And most of the air now had been chosen. And the air that hadn't was rarer and rarer. And he was running out of places where the world wasn't watching for him. He understood. In the slow way, one understands a thing that has been true for some time, that the blind threshold had not been a single place. It had been a capacity, a potential. The road was full of them. They were everywhere, every doorway, every gap, every fence line, every place where one thing met another. They had all been blind. Most of them were still blind. Most of them would never see anyone because most travelers followed the rule. But one of them had begun to see, and the seeing, once started, could not be returned. And the seeing, he knew this now, was teaching the others. The ones near the rest stopped first, then the ones along the road. Word was passing between them in whatever way blind things spoke to each other, and the word was Haseem, and his shape, and the print of his voice, and the direction he was walking. He kept moving. There was nothing else to do. People who stopped on the cutoff for too long became part of it, and even now, even chosen, even hunted, he did not want to be a fingernail. He kept moving, and the doors kept watching, and somewhere ahead of him on the road, there was a doorway that had begun, slowly, to be his. He did not know yet which one. He only knew, with the deep prey-knowledge his body had taught him, that he would recognize it when he saw it, and that when he did, the animal in him, the careful, learned, rule-following animal, would not be able to stop his hand from touching it, because that was what the threshold wanted now. That was what he had taught it to want.
Tryptic Theater of Dreaming will show up here every Thursday for the foreseeable future, unless you decide to close the door. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and come back for more.